Let's take a look at how a user would create quotes to quote a customer on something. So to get to the quote section, it's available in the sales and purchases menu, and then this module here, quotes. So initially, when you're creating a brand new one, it's done through this quote assign screen that brings up where you enter the quotes, and you have a couple options here. You can copy from a previous quote. So if you were to pull up a list of all the things you've quoted in the past, you could say, okay, I've already quoted a customer on these cooling fans. I might just want to copy from that and just change the customer, for example. Or this is the same thing we quoted them on last year. We're just going to increase the price because maybe the price went up. Another option in terms of copying is if you wanted to, you could copy from an offer. So by doing that, what you're saying is you're taking something that a supplier has quoted to you, and you're going to quote that out to a customer. You might want to change the price, but if you do that, you just select offers, and then it'll bring up a list of all the offers or all the things you have been quoted by different vendors, and you could choose that way. For example, though, let's just say we want to start fresh. I'll choose a customer that we're going to be quoting, and let's say we choose this Three Brothers company, and we'll pick a product that we're going to be quoting them. Let's use these cooling fans, for example. So I'll select that. It shows me the description of the item and the part number or the product ID. We could put price text on this. This is really more relevant in the case of exports. This would be quoting them, say, an FOB price. And let's say we're quoting them 1,000 pieces at $4.90 a piece. Now you notice that price actually filled in automatically based on our default sale price, but if we wanted to change it at this point, we could. Let's say we're going to increase the price a little bit and quote them $4.95 a piece. And we're quoting them in US dollars, and we'll click update. Now if we wanted to, you could add additional lines here too. Just click that add line, and you can quote them on as many different items as you want. We'll put an expiration date on this quote, let's say 12/15/16. Now notice the sales rep came in automatically, or what we call trader came in automatically, and that is because you can set that relationship up at the customer level. So you can say by default, when we're quoting this customer, this is the sales rep who's going to be tied to it, but of course we could change it at the quote level here if we wanted to. And you could choose from one of this customer's many ship-to addresses if you wanted to. But let's say, okay, we'll click assign. It assigns it a quote number, in this case 7426. And you could just leave it at that. This is kind of the more simple quote. You could go into a more detailed screen where you could add additional charges or discounts and things like that. A lot of this stuff just kind of fills in based on defaults that you've already set up. But you could change address information, whether it's sold to or shipped to address. Probably the thing you do more often is come in here and either apply a discount or add additional charges. Of course, the payment terms, that again fills in by the payment terms you've set up at the customer level, but if the terms are going to be different on this particular quote, you could change them here if you wanted to. You could add some text or comments that you want to appear on the actual quote document itself, like maybe availability limited, something like that. Add additional lines here on this screen too, where you could upload or attach documents to this quote. Say you had artwork or drawings or something that you wanted to attach, you could do that. You can drag and drop the files in here, or you can actually select from files on your computer, choose a type of file, say it's the artwork, and then it keeps a record of who uploaded it, the date in which it was uploaded. You could email out from here if you wanted to as well. And that's kind of the creating and the managing of the quotes. Now there is an actual document that you can send out here too, that the system will generate, and depending on your settings, this can either be generated in Excel form, which mine is now, or it could go straight to PDF. But in either case, when it's emailed, that email converts it to a PDF and attaches it to an email. Now in your actual version, you'd have your logo, your address and everything, and then this is otherwise our default formatting, which you could, that could be modified certainly. So that's the creation of the quote document. Then you could decline the quote, which keeps the quote in the system, but that would be if the customer comes back and says, hey, we're not going to go with this for whatever reason, maybe the pricing wasn't quite right. So it keeps a record that the quote's been created and that the customer did not accept it. You could cancel the quote, which removes it from the system altogether, and you can actually take a quote and convert it into an order as well. So if we were to do that, say create sales order, this shows us a history of everything we've quoted, and there's kind of a mixing and matching here too. So if you wanted to combine multiple quotes together, you quoted them on, say, a few different items, you could do that. Or if we look at like 742, quote number 7420 was a quote for 2 different line items, but let's say the customer only wanted to accept one of them. You just check off the one that he does want, and then you say create sales order, and that brings you into the sales order screen, but pre-fills it with all the information that came in from the quote. So it kind of simplifies that. Let's actually go and look at some of the reporting about quotes. So one thing you could do is if you go back into the quotes menu and just say view quotes, you'd have a history of everything that's been quoted, which you could filter by, say, sales rep. So, or we call trader. So if you want to say show me everything that Henry has ever quoted, then this would be all of Henry's quotes, the date in which he quoted them, the status on them, whether they've actually been converted to orders or they've expired, what the products are, the quantity and the price, and so on. So that's one way to do it. And of course you could export that out to Excel if you wanted to as well. But another way is if you go into the sales and purchases menu, and let's say we look at our product listing, and I'm going to drill down into, say, these cooling fans, for example. There is a tab here marked quotes that allows us to see what is our quote history on this item, right? So there's all the quote numbers, the dates, the sales rep, when they were expired, who the customer was that we quoted. Now we've got a lot of the same customer here we're quoting, but there's some other customers down here too. So what customers we've quoted, quantity, and price. And then you could drill down into each of them to see any comments or things that were uploaded, documentations that have been uploaded within those quotes. You can drill down in to see that. So that's looking at it at the product level. But probably the way it gets used more often than anything is at the customer level. So if you were to go into a customer, we'll choose that Three Brothers here, and loads up the customer details, and then you'll notice there's a tab in here for quotes, which this would be a history of all the different items that we've quoted this customer, quantity, price. Again, you could drill down in to see the details. You can actually add new quotes right from here too. So if the sales rep, for example, is just someone who's working within the customer information screen, she could just add quotes right from here. And you'll notice if you click this Add New button, it loads a pop-up window and allows you just to create quotes right from here, and then that adds to the history. Also from the customer section, if you wanted to see in the offers, this would be any quotes that you have received in from suppliers specifically for this customer, and those may have then been converted into actual quotes. So you have the history in that direction as well.